What's good, y'all? It's Ali back at it again with another YouTube video in which I give you guys mental models you can use to become extremely successful and accomplish all the goals you are after. So let's get right into it. So today I want to talk about planning, right? Because a lot of you niggas actually waste a ton of time planning. And you think, oh, you're like this mastermind who's like, okay, I got to study this and look at this and look at that and do this. And then boom, everything's going to work out like this. I'm going to cut that corner and do this thing. And then boom, I'm successful. But it is almost never, ever like that. And you're actually wasting a shit ton of time for no reason. So how can we define planning or to plan in the context of you achieving your goals? And it's a lot simpler than you think. And it is take action. Yep. That is it. That is what it means to plan. See, this is mainly in the context of something you've never done before, right? You're on the path to achieving your goals, or you're needing to learn skills and abilities on the path to achieving your goals, and you haven't done certain things before. So a problem a lot of you guys have is there's things that you have never done before, and you think that in order to do these things well, you need to plan very well ahead before you need to learn said skill and or ability, when this is super far from the case, because you don't actually have quality information. Because think about it. Why do we plan? Why is planning valuable? Why do people say, oh, you need to have a plan? What does that mean? It means you need to make sure you have information that is useful to ensure that things go well on whatever path you're on to achieve whatever you want to achieve, right? That's why we plan, so we can have good information. But the thing is, if you've never done something before in terms of gaining a skill or ability, you don't even have good information to use yet, bro. How do you have good information? You've never done this shit before. How do you know what's going to happen? And you've probably experienced a ton of times in your life already where you've planned or you've been strategizing, you've been watching content, you've been reading books on certain skills or abilities you need to adapt. You're like, okay, I need to study all this stuff. Okay, I've seen people do it, blah, 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 blah. And then you started the thing, and the first 10 minutes into the thing or skill ability you're trying to gain, you realize, what the fuck? This is nothing like how I thought it was going to be. I spent days, months, years studying all this information on this thing. And I just got into the first 10 minutes of actually doing it, and everything is not like how I thought it was going to be. And a lot of you guys waste so much time doing that because you realize, oh, fuck, nothing is actually like how it's going to be. Because sure, you can read books, watch content, gain a ton of information about something, but you don't know how you're going to react to something. You might, for example, let's say you were learning about sales, right? You watched a ton of content on sales. You spent months studying it, right? And you gain all this information on it, and you're like, okay, I think I'm ready for sales. All right, bet. And then you try to sell something to someone, or you get into your first day of doing it. Let's say you get a job, you get hired or whatever, you're becoming a salesman, and then you have your first sale and it goes horribly. And you're like, well, shit, that was kind of ass. Like, I thought after watching all that kind of stuff, like I thought I'd be good. Well, bro, that's not how skills work. Just because you know of something doesn't mean you have the ability to do it well. You just know. But what's important when it comes to succeeding and achieving things is not knowledge, it's application. Can you do the thing? Can you perform? So all these months and days and whatever you wasted studying all this fucking content was ultimately a waste, because you could have just been like, well, I've never sold before. I've never sold anything to anyone before. So let me make sure to just jump right into it. Because that first 10 minutes of me trying to sell something to someone teaches me way more. I'm like, okay, this is actually what it feels like to sell. Now planning actually becomes what? Valuable. Because you have what? Quality information. Because you've done the thing and you've experienced it. And this is why there's so many men that are currently moving way faster than you, because they're more concerned with just taking action so they can actually get quality information to plan better as they move forward, compared to your dumbass who spends months, years, and days, right, trying to study all this information on something you simply haven't done before. And then when you finally do the thing, you just realize, well, oh shit, this is nothing how like I thought it was going to be. And you just wasted a ton of time for no reason then. You know, because this is something, at least for me, I deeply have struggled with, right? And as I've grown older and learned more about what it takes to achieve my goals, I've realized like, nah, bro, it's about speed. And that's a big theme of what I'm talking about here. It's like, I just need to move. I don't even have all the information. Nobody has all the answers, bro. Risk and uncertainty is a part of this game. You don't even know what's going to happen. Meaning the only way you know what's going to happen is if you do something, because from doing, you gain experience, and real skill comes from real experience. So the only way to get quality information about anything, especially for skills and abilities you need to learn, is from just doing something. And this is something that I'll make sure to talk about more in my future videos I make, but you don't have time, bro. You really don't have time. You're not gaining more energy as you age. You're not gaining more energy. You're not going to gain more time. You're not going to be physically as capable as you grow older. You're not going to be as mentally capable as you grow older. You don't have time to be sitting here trying to, perfectly write your plan or strategy to achieve your goals, bro. You need to start doing things so you can get real information and real experience and real skill. All this building, all this knowledge is not going to help you, right? A lot of the times it just comes down to, and this is like a secondable or second actionable step just from directly taking action, which is just move plus learn. Because as I already just said to you guys now, like, you only really know something once you do something, because when you do something, you get information on how you interact with whatever skill you're trying to learn. That's the only way, right? So you really just want to do a whole lot of just moving and learning. Because this move is actually what teaches you anything. And when you start to move like this, instead of trying to plan, it's like everything you want to achieve just happens a lot faster. And isn't that the point? Do you want to move slow on purpose? You don't, right? So you need to make sure that, hey, you're not going to waste time watching a ton of content and reading books about or gaining a ton of information about something you could just do to really see what's going on and see what it's like. And then the planning actually becomes valuable. Because also what I want to say here is that it's not that planning is stupid. You should never plan. You should just go into everything gun-ho and not know what the fuck is going on at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that real action or taking action actually teaches you real information that you can use to plan well. You're like, okay, for example, instead of wasting the hours, months, and days studying all this sales content, you could just hop into sales, and from the first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sales that you go through, you've now gathered information on how or what your current sales ability looks like, and now you could plan for how you're going to train this ability. You're like, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Let me look at my own game tape. Let me look at my own film of when I was selling. Okay, did I say the right thing here? Did I follow the script well? Whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, you are gaining real information because you did the thing. Now your selling improves. You can plan to sell better because you're like, okay, this was one thing I was fucking up. The next time I go do a sale, I'm not going to mess that thing up anymore because this was an issue. See what I'm saying? You did real work to get real information to now plan. But if you've never done something before, you can't do that. That's why these first steps matter most. That's why just taking action a lot of the times is what you need to do. You don't need a plan, bro. You just need to do something so you can iterate and get better and keep improving. So yeah, man, let me know how you guys felt about this. Does this really break a lot of the barriers in your mind around preparation or planning when it comes to your goals? Have you come to now realize that, oh shit, yeah, I'm kind of really just sitting here procrastinating? Realistically, that's honestly what I'm doing. I'm not actually doing anything. I'm not really learning anything. I'm collecting information that isn't useful to me because I haven't even seen how I interact with a certain skill or ability. Because who knows, you might be insane at sales, but you don't know that because you're spending months and years or whatever trying to study it instead of just seeing how good you are. Maybe you're insane. So you could be moving way faster towards your goals right now if you just started working, So if you were able to understand that or extrapolate this from what I've said here, like the video, man. So more guys can see this shit and realize that, oh, yeah, I just need to be moving, bro. Realistically, it just needs to be about moving and learning. I don't need to prepare anymore. I need to actually just move and learn. Real skill comes from real experience. You know what I'm saying? And of course, to subscribe, because I'm always dropping videos like this, like every day, to make sure you guys are continuously finding ways to just move faster. Speed is really what rules all when it comes to success. You got to be willing to move fast. You don't have all the cards. You don't have all the information you need. And the only way to gain information is through movement. So you can get real experience, as I keep saying, And as I said earlier, I'm going to continue to make this a point to you guys is that this is about speed. You want to move faster. You can go faster, bro. You can go way faster than you're currently going. You're thinking way too much. You can go way faster than you think. So if you mess with all that shit, like and subscribe so more guys can see this. We can build a fam and all you guys can win massively in your fucking life, because that's why else would you be here watching this shit or want to watch this shit? Anyway, I'll catch you boys in the next YouTube video. Deuces.